Hey everyone, good morning this morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope you're having a blessed day wherever in the world you are. It's Dr. Eric Naputi. Listen, I am this morning doing interviews all over the United States on Fox News syndicated radios about a topic that I think you and I should be discussing. And it's about the fact that science is never settled. Let me say that again, folks. Science is truly never settled. There's so many things that we could talk about that science has been quite honestly used as dogma. And I'm going to share some insights with you this on this quick little talk. And I hope this message blesses you. So give me a thumbs up if you guys can see me and hear me, and let me know wherever in the world you guys are watching from. Comment below so that I can see where you're watching from. So this morning, yesterday, I got a call if I would get on Fox News this morning and talk about the fact that science is never settled and how you must question really everything. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about the truth of these new studies with ADD, ADHD medications, the new studies on the mRNA shots, and then just the blind dangers of trusting without questioning. And that's a big issue. How many of y'all would agree that we shouldn't just trust without questioning? I live in Missouri. Missouri is known as the show me state. I want you to show me the truth, and the truth absolutely will set you free. I mean, how many of you been told, how many of you been told to trust the science? But that phrase is truly being weaponized. Wouldn't you agree that trust the science phrase is absolutely being weaponized? I mean, let me remind you that science is a method. It's not a belief system. It's supposed to evolve, and we're supposed to question things, and that's how breakthroughs happen in science. And today I'm going to show you really how history proves that settled science is often, well, deadly science, okay, or at least harmful science. So let's talk about a few things. Number one, ADD, ADHD medications, and now the risk of heart issues. So we now know that we have a massive issue with overprescribing to millions of children and adults as well. And the new research confirms that stimulants like Adderall and Ritalin have a dramatically increased risk for heart issues. Listen, so by the way, do stimulants like energy drinks, right? We know that there's an increased risk in heart cardiovascular issues when someone's doing energy drinks. The caffeine, the other stimulants, these are problems, and we have to be smart about that. And we really need to be shifting towards the real root of the problem. And I've been spending this morning educating folks, and let me give you some of my notes that I was talking about. Listen to this. And this is true. Imagine giving your child or even yourself a prescription that might slightly increase the risk of heart arrhythmias, heart issues, and et cetera. Listen to this. The medications for ADD, ADHD, these are things like Ritalin and Concerta, things like Adderall and Vyvanse. These are drugs that increase norepinephrine, which is a nervous system stimulator. This is why it makes the brain do what it does, and it stimulates the adrenals, and it stimulates the sympathetic nervous system. And we know that short term, a lot of people can feel concentration improvement, can feel focus improvement. There's no question that these medications do make that happen. The problem is now the data showing that long-term risk do not outweigh the benefits. So the shift is happening on a global standpoint that we need to be looking at the cause of problems and not just treating the symptoms or managing the symptoms. Like here's a common sense question. Why are so many adults suddenly diagnosed with ADD, ADHD? Like when we were kids, we had these diagnoses, but not like it is today. And I'm going to tell you, we now know that chronic inflammation causes inflammation in the GI tract and in the brain, and that could lead to stimuli of ADD, ADHD, issues with brain fog, focus, concentration issues. I mean, this is a common sense approach, and we're over demonizing ADD and ADHD. Right? It really can be a superpower if you learn to harness it for good and not evil. But here's some triggers that we do know. We do know that the most common cause of inflammation are environmental toxins, environmental stresses. These are like the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat. There's arsenic, lead, cadmium, aluminum. These are heavy metals, and we know these heavy metals can lower our IQ, increase the sympathetic nervous system. That's our fight or flight response, and it diminishes our focus and concentration. Listen, I'm telling you, there's also a genetic predisposition. There are certain genes, for example, the MTHFR gene. If that gene is positive for you, and you don't make the lifestyle changes, like getting methylated B vitamins in your diet, especially methylated B12, methylated B9. That's why we created a cell signal formula. That cell signal formula that I created out of frustration, because we needed it to improve energy, to mimic fasting, to improve ketones, and to help the brain go into a heightened state of focus and concentration without the side effects of these stimuli from these medications or caffeines. Did you know that serotonin and norepinephrine, these are neurotransmitters that are produced in your GI tract? And if you don't have the right type of good, healthy bacteria, which 95% of the global population has some imbalance in bacteria, your brain can't get those signals like it's supposed to. The body won't make those compounds like serotonin that makes you feel happy, norepinephrine that keeps your brain stimulated. So using certain spore-based bacteria, there's a formula that we use with all of our patients that have concentration and focus issues called master microbiotics. That's an important thing. And then getting those heavy metals out of the body and the microplastics. We now know that the average person has a credit card size worth of microplastics in their body, and that can cross the blood-brain barrier. It can cause issues with neuroinflammation, which can clearly lead to these symptoms of ADD, ADHD. We also know that it can cause inflammation in the bowels if we get plastics in there, and that can also cause issues with leaky gut, which leads to leaky brain, which can cause a lot of these problems. And recent studies have shown that these medications long-term, the ADD, HD medications, can cause way more harm than benefit. So I'm telling you, by getting to the root cause of this, we can truly help some people, and removing things like dairy and gluten and your food dyes and avoiding fast food. Those are really big game changers for people to deal with. How many of you know folks that deal with focus, concentration issues, ADD, ADHD, etc.? Give me a thumbs up if you know people like that. And if you can make some shifting in the lifestyle, it'll make a huge, huge difference. Let me give you another example. Let's talk about this new study that just came out. The science was settled on these mRNA injections that were put out. Now, there's a new peer-reviewed study that shows that, listen to this, injected children, so I'm going to use that word that gets banned and shouldn't, it's called vaccination. These kids have a 159%. Let me say that again. The kids that get these injections to help prevent COVID, the new peer-reviewed study shows that these children have a 159% increase in getting COVID. And listen to this, a 257% more likelihood of getting symptomatic infections than unvaccinated children. That's not dogma, that's the science. And this is not conspiracy, this is data. And people were censored for questioning this, and now the science is catching up with all these things, and we know that was dogma that just wasn't true, and that led to a lot of serious problems. And here we are today. A lot of people are dealing with weakened immune systems because of the spike protein. We told folks this was going to be a problem. Now it is, and now we are doing the best we can as physicians and educators to try to clean up this mess. And there are solutions that can be done. We can detoxify from the spike proteins. We can improve mitochondrial function. We can improve gut bacteria. We can reduce a lot of these heavy metals in our body, but we need to focus on getting better. And we now know that a lot of these methods are causing more harm than good. Here's another example. Remember when smoking was like once doctor recommended? Some of you, like me, are old enough to remember magazines where, it had a picture of a doctor on it and says, doctors prefer this cigarette, 1 out of 3 doctors prefer this brand of cigarettes. Like, that was settled science that Camel cigarettes were healthy for you and they didn't cause harm. And we know that they cause cancer, addiction, heart disease, and premature death. So remember, science that was once settled should always be questioned. I mean, look at the food pyramid. The food pyramid promoted 6 to 11 servings of breads, cereals, and pastas per day based off of food lobbying. It was based off of the lobbyist, and the scientist who brought this information to the marketplace didn't even agree with it. And this led to skyrocketing rates of obesity and diabetes and metabolic syndrome. And now we're seeing a path forward to flip that food pyramid on its head. It should be protein at the bottom, fats in your diet second, different types of vegetables, like non-starchy vegetables, low glycemic vegetables here, fermented foods here, and then like berries and honey in moderation. Like that's what would lead to a healthy life. And that's changing now. And when the food pyramid changes, access to school lunches and foods are going to change, which there's a big shift happening right now. And I'll tell you, it's exciting, but it's also very political because people just don't want to hear the truth. And there's just a lot of there's a lot of politics behind it. And there's a lot of political science, not real science. What about, we talked about this the other day. Do you remember the medication that women used to take for morning sickness called, I always say it wrong. It's thalidomide. Sorry, thalidomide. Thalidomide was a medication that women took in the 1950s and 1960s, and the science was settled saying that it was safe until thousands of babies were born with severe birth defects. I mean, it took years of questioning this to reverse that narrative that science was settled. How many guys remember that? Or go look up pictures of the kids that had this formaldehyde we're now calling poisoning, and it's just crazy. What about, remember the low-fat diets like in the late 80s and 90s when for decades, saturated fat was blamed for like heart disease, and the real science shows that sugars, seed oils, and inflammatory foods are the real culprits. And we were told that avoiding butter and eating to go eat margarine, which you should not be doing. I mean, I can't believe it's not butter, has led to a lot of serious heart issues. Sorry, Fabio. I do know Fabio, by the way. He's an interesting guy. But that's led to a decades and generations of symptoms, sickness, and disease. And people got sick and lost their livelihood and lost their income because of wrong information. I mean, what about the germ theory? I mean, versus the terrain theory. Germ theory, this is Louis Pasteur who dominated modern medicine, versus the terrain theory brought out by Bichkamp, who teaches that environmental the environment within your body determines your health. And this is now being, validated through epigenetic testing and gut microbiome testing and the science of functional medicine, frequency medicine, and longevity. Like, guys, everything that we had been taught the last 30 to 40 years, it's pretty sketch. I mean, it's pretty bad what we've been, indoctrinated with, and it's not helping us. I mean, just pull your head out of your rectum and look around and go, hey, we're fat, sick, and nearly dead, and this is not okay. We've got more chronic illness than ever. We're spending more money on healthcare than ever. We're now seeing more fraud in the healthcare world than ever, and it's not working. The system is broken. I'm going to challenge that and say that it's not necessarily broken. It's absolutely doing what it's supposed to be designed to do, and that's to extract as much income out of the global economy as possible. So when someone says like the science is settled, it's your clue to dig in deeper. Like when I hear someone go, "Oh, the science is settled on that," well, let's talk about that. Like let's have a conversation about that. Because real science welcomes questioning. And censorship is not science, it's control. And this is something that I have a really big issue with is, I don't like posers, I don't like bullies, but I cannot stand the censorship police, because when someone controls a megaphone or a microphone and censors and suppresses free speech, how can we evolve as a society? And the answer is we cannot. And the pandemic should have proved that to everyone. And if it didn't prove that to you, God bless you, because I believe that we're here on this planet to have tests in our life, and you're about to be tested again, because the reality is real science welcomes questions, and that we stand for truth, trust, and transparency. And we need to make sure that people understand that self-care is the real healthcare. You deserve informed choices, not indoctrination. So listen, I just wanted to come on here real quick. I'm getting ready to go do another Fox 2 interview here at the top of the hour, but I want you to like, subscribe, and share. I want you to give me a thumbs up if this message resonates with you. The truth will set you free if you'll let it, but you gotta listen. You've got you've got to get exposed to knowledge. And I'm telling you, you're not going to get it on most social media platforms. It's just not there. 3 minutes is not enough for you to learn how to take care of your life, your health, your wealth, or whatever that people are just TikToking and on X all the time trying to figure out how to live their lives in 3-minute segments. It takes a little bit longer of time to really learn how to help your body set yourselves free. So you guys click my link below. You guys follow us, like, subscribe. You can follow me on ericnaputi.com. Or you can go to our website, biolimitless.com. We have a lot of projects going on. I just want you to know that the truth will set you free, and knowledge is power. Don't forget that. Knowledge is power, but wisdom is taking that knowledge and applying it to your life. So listen, if you like this, if you want to hear more about this, get on board with what we're doing. Every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Central Time, I do a 1 hour, I call it Wednesday night wellness workshop on different topics. And then I do a 30-minute Q&A when we're done with that to answer your questions. Make sure that you're following us on social media, and go to the biolimitless.com website and ericnaputi.com website to find out when I'm going to be live. We're going to start doing a lot more global AMAs where I can get on a call and you can ask me anything about health, about nutrition, about wellness. I believe that it's time that we are in the season of common sense. We just came out of this crazy valley of the worst time in modern medicine, healthcare that I've been a part of in my 44 years on this planet. And now we're going into an age of enlightenment where self-care is the real healthcare, where you are demanding knowledge, where you're taking that knowledge and applying it to your life. And that's the wisdom that we should have. So give me a thumbs up if that resonates with you. I really appreciate you guys. And until we meet again, I'm Dr. Eric Naputi. God bless you. God bless America. And God bless this beautiful, beautiful world. Stay smart out there, and I'll see you next time.